What is up, guys? JayFerGaming here and welcome to episode 6 of my F1 2017 career mode. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. If you're new to my channel, do remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you missed the previous episodes in this series, do go check them out. It's been a great season so far. Really enjoying it. Hope you guys are as well. You can see we're doing quite a good job in the rivalry against Carlos Sainz there. We have scored the majority of the points for our team. And you can see in terms of upgrades, we have been going down the durability route, but I think for my next upgrade, I'm going to try something different and upgrade the powertrain. We have the 8th best one, which isn't great at all, and I think it really could do with an upgrade. So after practice, I used, in practice, I used the first element of the power unit, and for the qualifying session now, we're going to just skip over to the second. The power unit isn't that important for this weekend, but we don't want it to be too worn out. And in terms of the gearbox, of course, not making any changes. We've completed 2 out of 6. We've already made an unscheduled change this season by accident.
We're here in magical Monaco for this afternoon's qualifying session, which will be getting underway shortly. So, could be a tasty one today then, Ants. We've got all the ingredients, that's for sure. Treacherous conditions, an ever-changing racetrack, and 1 or 2 cars just behind the pace-setters who maybe, just maybe, fancy a bit of an upset after a good performance from them in free practice.
And the question has to be, of course, what is that circuit going to look like in 10 to 15 minutes from now? If you think the rain's going to get worse, then you have to be straight out when the lights go green to find whatever grip you can. But if it eases off, then you're better off waiting, saving the tyres, and going out at the perfect moment. The other thing that comes with these conditions? Traffic. And the lack of visibility that comes from sitting in the spray. It's going to be a constant problem, and I expect to see a lot of frustrated drivers with ruined laps out there today.
So going into qualifying now, the first half of the session was on intermediate tyres, and we actually got ourselves up to P6, which was pretty good, but now we'll come to the end, putting on the ultra softs, and it's very tricky. It's still damp on the track, so the car is sliding quite a bit, but we have moved down the order to P13, but at this point it's just a case of going round and round and hoping we cross the line just before the checkered flag comes down, and we end up going up to P6 once again. P6 seems to be pretty good for us. And now on our final run, there's not much left in the session. I've noticed Palmer's on P1, which is absolutely incredible. Not sure what's going on there, but come to the end of this lap, we've improved by a dramatic amount. Where are we going to end up? And that looked pretty good for us. I think we should be okay, but then I see the Palmer with a 19-second flat, and then I was thinking, where the hell are we? There's no way we got knocked out there in P18. I don't know if there's a glitch. I mean, look at Ocon's time in P15. He's done a 13. Above him, Raikkonen's done a 69. I don't know if there's a glitch there because there weren't that many cars that crossed the line after me before the flag went down. So we're starting in P18 next to Hamilton. So yeah, this should be intriguing.
How the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Magnussen, Carlos Sainz, and Perez, Grosjean, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, and Stoffel van Dorn, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Pascal Wehrlein, and Ericsson, a Toro Rosso, Palmer, Lewis Hamilton, and Felipe Massa, Stroll, and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. And now, it's time to head down to the track.
Yeah, that grid's quite messed up, and yeah, quite a few penalties as well, just like the Italian Grand Prix, but we're getting ready. 5 lights and a lit, where we go. We got promoted to P15 with a few penalties. We need to get past these Saubers as quick as possible, up the inside. Can we get Alonso here through turn 1? But this scenario just reminds me of the race today in Italy with the grid and with all the penalties. Sauber's out of position. It's absolutely crazy. But we're going up Sandoval here. Sauber's out with Alonso, and he just gets the better of us. We're trying to avoid making contact with him because sim damage, it's going to be so tricky not to get any damage to our front wing in this race. So, oh, Alonso's really slow there. Didn't expect him to brake so heavily, but still side by side. I knew we're not going to get an overtake done here. And once again, we're so close to hitting the back of him. The AI really following the leader very slowly. We try and go up at the inside, but I thought, I can't even turn the car here, so I've got to let him through and then just follow Alonso through. So at least we're up to P13. Got the Saubers out the way, which was the main thing, but lap 6 now, and I just couldn't overtake Alonso. Oh, back end stepping out. That was so close to putting the car in the wall, but in previous games I've noticed that it is pretty easy to overtake around Monaco. It got quite a lot more difficult in 2016, and on this 2017 game it's virtually impossible. I just can't get close enough, especially on these super soft tyres. I'll be looking to pit around lap 22, 23 I'd say. yeah, we're having to work very hard. We've got Hamilton on our tail, putting us under pressure, and we just can't overtake. It's so difficult around Monte Carlo. I suppose it simulates real life pretty realistically. Lap 12 now, just trying to look for the overtake. I can't do the classic overtake that I used to always do on lap 2016, even going deep in Raskas and then getting a great bit of traction and overtaking into the final corner. But we're in P11 now. I think a couple of drivers have pit, and still following this McLaren Honda. He's so slow as well compared to Van Dorn. Van Dorn's in P9, and just look at the gap between the two of them and the gap ahead of Van Dorn to the rest of the pack. I mean, yeah, this is costing us so much time behind this McLaren Honda. We've got a great run this time though. Behind Alonso, I thought I'm going to take a brave move into Raskas up the inside. And that Raskas move, I rarely ever go for that because I just never feel confident enough to do it. But I thought I've really got to do it, just get through. We had a huge lockup. But yeah, we got it done. Alonso luckily didn't turn in, and we just slipped through a tiny gap there. You'll see a couple of replays here, just how close we get to the barrier on the inside. So here we go, just sliding up that gap. Oh, it's so close. It's such a difficult move to execute. On board with Alonso here. You can just see we come out of nowhere, slide up the inside, just leaving enough room. Lucky, and finally we've got past the McLaren Honda up to P10. Now we've got a gap of around 3 seconds to Van Dorn, but yeah, the rest of the field have gone through the tunnel already, so I think we're probably about a full pit stop behind them. So at this point I wasn't expecting any big points finishes, and Hamilton's having an absolute shock. Earlier on he had problems with the car, my engineer told, now he's got a puncture. So what a disastrous weekend he's had, and he's had a terrible season as well, so much bad luck. I think he's only 4th in the driver's standings as well, so yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. Some of the drivers that were ahead of us by nearly a full pit stop, well, it was just under a full pit stop as Magnussen rejoins just behind us. My teammate was involved there as well. So they've made their one and only pit stop, and yeah, Magnussen will definitely be putting me under pressure. Magnussen's in a really good position as well. I think he was genuinely in around P4, so trying to catch up to Van Dorn, who's just gone into the pits now, along with Raikkonen. So Raikkonen's, where's he going to rejoin? Behind this train of cars. So I'm going to stretch this stint out for a little bit longer. I'm going to try and go for the overcut on Van Dorn even. And I'm also, at the same time, trying to back the cars behind me into Sainz, who's just off the back of this train. So it involves Magnussen, I think Grosjean, Raikkonen, and Sainz as well. So Sainz is looking good for a decent points finish. And if we can overtake Van Dorn, I think that would be P10, but I'm not 100% sure. We come into the pits. Hopefully we've done enough to overtake the McLaren Honda. But yeah, that train of cars has gone now, and I don't expect to be seeing them anytime soon. So we're already down to P11, unfortunately. Going on to the ultra soft, so we should have pretty good pace in this second half of the race. Van Dorn's come down the start-finish straight right now. He's actually quite far ahead, so the undercut has pulled him further away, but we've got the tyre advantage and obviously the car advantage. So I think in a few laps we should be on the back of the McLaren. And then we have to go through the same thing as we had with Alonso. You can see we're quite far ahead of Alonso now. That shows how much he really was slowing us down. Lap 23 here, and yeah, a bit of a strange thing. There's a couple of cars in the pits, and it's actually Hülkenberg and Daniel Ricciardo who have gone for the 2-stop, but that's actually put us into P10 now. So we've got a point to defend now, and track position, you know, is always key around Monaco, and that's why I would go for a 1-stop every time. The 2-stop just doesn't seem to... It wouldn't work around here, it really wouldn't. And I've just noticed a yellow flag on the mini-map. Just ahead of Ocon here is a retiring Ferrari, and it's actually Sebastian Vettel. I'm not sure if he's actually lapped these guys, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in the lead. So we've gained a position there. Now we're up to P9, so we've got to defend from Daniel Ricciardo behind us, who obviously is going to be really quick on them, fresh, super soft. But at the same time, we've got to attack Van Dorn. We're only 2.5 seconds behind with 15 laps to go, so we could end up finishing in P8. And yeah, P8 seems to be our position. That would be our 4th P8 of the season. I really, yeah, just always end up getting them 4 points. We're on the back of Van Dorn here, pushing very hard. We're going to get DRS. Can we go for the move into turn 1? Oh, we just don't get good enough traction off the final corner. We're closing, we're closing. Can we go for a little lunge into turn 1? Yes, we've gone for it. He's left the door open, and we've got the move done up to P8. That was a brilliant move there. We were quite far back, but he left the door open, took advantage. And there we go, ahead of the McLaren Honda, doing a much better job than we did against Alonso earlier on, following him for about 13 laps. But I think Ricciardo was right on the back of Van Dorn here, after he doesn't get a great run through turn 1. And if you think back to the Monaco Grand Prix in real life, someone went off Van Dorn's inside into turn 1, and I'm sure he just put the car in the barriers. But unfortunately for us, Ricciardo followed Van Dorn through, so he's down to P10, and we've got Ricciardo putting us under pressure again. So I think for the rest of the race, we're about 16 seconds behind Sainz, so no chance of catching him, and we're just going to have to defend from Daniel Ricciardo the whole time by the looks of things. So we've now got 3 laps to go, and we are starting to struggle a little bit. Ty's going off the cliff a little bit, but Ricciardo's got a great run here. Is he going to go for the move into turn 1? We actually go defensive. He's going to hang around the outside, but no, nothing doing there. I don't think anyone can go around the outside there, but a great defensive move there just to defend our P8. And we're skipping to the final lap now. Max Verstappen has won the Monaco Grand Prix, and we look like we're going to come home in our favourite position, P8. Wow. So what's that? 4 out of 6 races we finish 8th? That's pretty crazy how consistent we are. But coming to the line at the Monaco Grand Prix, we're going to end up with 4 points and another 8th position for the Toro Rosso team. Great result there after a very tricky qualifying session.
Brilliant stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
So wow, that was a pretty crazy podium there. Verstappen, Bottas and Kevin Magnussen, the Haas drivers, having an absolute fantastic race there, getting 27 points. That's absolutely incredible from them too. My teammate ended up in P7, so at least he's starting to score points. He scored last time out in Spain, and he's got another 6 on the board. So 7th and 8th for the Toro Rosso guys. I'm very happy with that. I feel like we're doing a great job at the moment. 2 double point finishes in a row. Vettel retired. Hamilton had an absolute shocker finishing in P15, so yeah, the big guns in the championship didn't really score too many points. Raikkonen has a lead from Bottas. Vettel struggling, Hamilton struggling even more, and Grosjean jumps up to P7 now with 35 points. So yeah, we've dropped behind him, but we're still consistently scoring points in 8th place. So overall, I am pretty happy with that. You can see Magnussen's jumped up. He only had 1 point before this podium. Sainz getting a few more points on the board, slowly moving up the order, and now he's in P14. So we'll have a quick look at the constructors. We're in 5th. Haas have jumped over us, and we've jumped above Williams, but still, that midfield battle is going to be very exciting this season. Can we jump over Haas in the next Grand Prix? So if you have enjoyed this race, please do leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time out. Goodbye.